In 1973, a film was released that critics called shocking, forbidden, and unlike anything audiences had ever seen. Banned in multiple cities, protested by religious groups, yet praised by film critics, The Devil and Miss Jones wasn't just another underground feature. It was a genuine artistic statement disguised as mature entertainment. At its center was Georgina Spelvin, a trained Broadway actress who delivered what many consider the single greatest performance in Golden Age cinema history. This is the untold story behind the controversial masterpiece that changed everything. The plot was unlike anything the industry had attempted before. Justine Jones, a lonely spinster, takes her own life. But upon reaching the afterlife, she's told she's damned for eternity, not for how she lived, but for how she died. Enraged by this cosmic injustice, Justine makes a devil's bargain. If she's going to hell anyway, she wants to earn it. She demands a return to Earth to experience every forbidden pleasure she denied herself. What follows is her descent into obsession, where pleasure transforms into torment, and desire becomes her eternal punishment. Director Gerard Damiano, fresh off the massive success of Deep Throat, didn't want to make another comedy. He wanted to create something darker, more psychological, a film influenced by Faust, existential philosophy, and Catholic guilt reimagined through the sexual revolution of the 70s. Georgina Spelvin wasn't your typical adult film actress. Born Shelby Garon in 1936, she'd spent years performing in off-Broadway theater and touring productions. She understood character work, emotional arcs, and method acting. When she signed on for The Devil and Miss Jones, she was 37 years old, ancient by industry standards. But Damiano didn't want an ingenue. He wanted someone who could act, who could sell genuine desperation and psychological collapse. And Spelvin delivered beyond anyone's expectations. Her transformation from repressed spinster to pleasure-obsessed woman is genuinely disturbing to watch. She doesn't play sexy, she plays desperate, hungry, and increasingly unhinged. The famous solo sequence where she covers herself in fruit remains one of the most raw, vulnerable performances ever captured on film. Mainstream critics took notice. Publications that normally ignored adult cinema praised Spelvin's fearless and committed work. Some even argued she deserved legitimate acting recognition. She brought theatrical discipline to every scene, never breaking character, treating the production like serious drama. What do you think? Could Georgina Spelvin's performance hold up against mainstream actresses of the 70s? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Shot during the summer of 1972 inches, New York City, under the VCA Pictures banner, The Devil and Miss Jones had that gritty East Coast aesthetic that separated it from California productions. Filming took place in Manhattan apartments, giving the movie a claustrophobic, theatrical intensity. Damiano worked closely with cinematographer Harry Flex to create a visual language for Justine's journey. The color palette shifts throughout, starting with cold, desaturated tones during her lonely life, warming into vibrant colors during her experiences, then finally descending into the stark, nightmarish visuals of her eternal punishment. The supporting cast included industry legends Harry Reams and Mark Stevens, both bringing genuine intensity to their roles. Damiano ran a professional set with proper rehearsals, multiple takes, and attention to performance detail. This wasn't a weekend cash grab, this was a serious film production. The infamous ending where Justine finds herself trapped in hell with a man who has absolutely no interest in her was Damiano's darkest joke. After a lifetime of denial followed by total indulgence, her eternal punishment is to want what she can never have. Pure existential horror wrapped in irony. When The Devil and Miss Jones hit theaters in 1973, it exploded. The film grossed millions during an era when mature films still played in legitimate theaters alongside mainstream releases. Lines wrapped around city blocks. Theater owners reported selling out shows for weeks. But success brought backlash. Religious groups protested. Several cities attempted to ban the film outright. Police raided theaters in smaller towns. The controversy only fueled ticket sales. Audiences wanted to see what all the fuss was about. What shocked everyone was the critical response. Major publications that typically dismiss the genre praised the film's ambition, Spelvin's performance, and Damiano's directorial vision. The Devil and Miss Jones proved that mature cinema could tell sophisticated stories with genuine emotional weight. It influenced an entire generation of directors. Paul Thomas, Anthony Spinelli, and others cited it as evidence the medium could aspire to art. Over 50 years later, The Devil and Miss Jones remains a cultural landmark. The British Film Institute includes it in their archives as historically significant. Film schools study its narrative structure. Spelvin's performance is still referenced as proof that serious acting could exist anywhere. For Georgina Spelvin, the film became both her greatest achievement and defining role. She continued working throughout the 70s and 80s, always bringing professionalism, but she never found another part that showcased her abilities quite like Justine Jones. The Devil and Miss Jones represents the peak of Golden Age ambition, when talent, vision, and resources aligned to create something that transcended its genre. It proved that any medium, no matter how dismissed, could produce genuine art when approached with seriousness and craft. Not many films from any era can claim that kind of lasting impact. That's the untold story of The Devil and Miss Jones and Georgina Spelvin's legendary performance. What's your favorite Golden Age film that pushed boundaries? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.